Hello everyone, and welcome to my YNR-CBS Daily Update channel. Is this the moment the golden boy of Genoa City finally shatters into pieces? We've all watched Nick Newman survive car crashes, plane wrecks, and even the loss of a child, but can he survive the tiny white pill currently burning a hole in his pocket? It's a heavy question, isn't it? While Nick is fighting this silent, deadly war with his own body, Phyllis Summers is busy declaring a very loud, very public war on the man who basically created the Newman legacy. Was this one last pill really just a simple mistake, or is it a complete surrender to the trauma Matt Clark left behind? You have to wonder what's going through his head when he's standing there in the cold. To really get why Genoa City is a ticking time bomb right now, we have to look at these two desperate fights. On one side, we have Nick, the guy who has spent his whole life trying not to be like his father, Victor, or his brother, Adam. But the funny thing is, that exact desire to be the steady one is what led him into this dark corner. After that brutal crash with his old enemy Matt Clark, Nick didn't just walk away with a broken leg. He walked away with a secret addiction to pain meds that has now turned into a dangerous dance with fentanyl. This didn't happen out of nowhere, and we need to talk about that. This descent into drug use is a direct result of Matt Clark's psychological games. By planting those pills in Nick's jacket, Matt knew exactly which buttons to push. He didn't just want to hurt Nick physically, he wanted to strip away Nick's moral high ground, and that is just cold-blooded. Meanwhile, Phyllis is facing her own version of a death sentence. Victor Newman is on a relentless quest to get his empire back, and he's allegedly used a cutting-edge AI program to fake incriminating emails. These documents pin the theft of Newman Enterprises right on Phyllis and Kane Ashby. Phyllis is cornered, and as we know, a cornered Phyllis is the most dangerous person in Wisconsin. She isn't just looking for a lawyer, she's looking for a miracle, and she's willing to burn down every bridge in town to find it. Think about that scene where Nick is standing in the snow, staring at that baggie with one final fentanyl pill. We aren't just seeing a man struggling with a craving. We are seeing a total psychological collapse. For a man like Nick, his whole identity is built on being the protector. He protects Sharon, he protects his kids, and he tries to protect the Newman name from its own darkness. But addiction is the one thing he can't just punch his way out of. The shame he feels is actually what's driving him to use more. He isn't using to feel good, he's using to numb the feeling of being a hypocrite, especially after watching his mother Nikki struggle with her own demons for years. There is a huge sense of isolation here. Even though Victoria knows the truth now, Nick still feels like he's on an island. When he holds that pill, he's feeling the weight of every failure, the death of Cassie, the affairs with Phyllis, and the constant, crushing expectation of being Victor's son. I see this last pill as a metaphor for his last shred of control. Every time he says this is the last one, he's trying to convince himself that he still has the power to stop. But in reality, the addiction has become the new Victor in his life, a dominant, controlling force that he can't escape. The writers are doing something really smart here by making Nick's struggle so quiet compared to Phyllis's loud drama. It makes the stakes feel much more intimate and tragic. I honestly think Nick needs to hit rock bottom before he can truly recover, because the white knight persona he's been wearing is what's actually killing him. Now, let's talk about the masterclass in chaos that is Phyllis Summers. She's currently at the GCAC pitching a plan to Michael Baldwin that is so risky it borders on suicidal. She wants to record Victor confessing to the fake evidence. Why would she think this would work? Because Phyllis operates on the belief that everyone has a crack in their armor. She's been in the trenches with Victor for years, she knows his ego is his biggest strength and his biggest weakness. She believes that if she pushes the right buttons, his need to show off will override his need for caution. This is pure control dynamics. Victor has used technology to rewrite reality. To someone like Phyllis, who prides herself on being the ultimate manipulator, this is the ultimate insult. She isn't just fighting for her freedom, she's fighting for her status as the person who can't be outplayed. Her aggression toward Christine Blair and her threats to Michael are just defense mechanisms. If she attacks first, she doesn't have to admit how terrified she is of going back to prison. Deep down, Phyllis feels incredibly betrayed by the system. Seeing Christine work with Victor, the man who has broken the law more times than anyone, feels like a personal slap in the face. There's a hidden vulnerability here. She's realizing that the Newmans always win, and for the first time, she might not be able to Phyllis her way out of this. I have to say, I really disagree with her pressuring Michael to set Victor up. It's a move that could get Michael disbarred, and it shows that Phyllis's survival instinct often blinds her to the loyalty of the people actually trying to save her. But you have to love the wickedly delicious heights Michelle Stafford is taking this to. She makes you want to root for the villain because the heroes like Victor and Victoria are playing just as dirty. The real spark for all this tension is the fact that Matt Clark is back in town claiming amnesia. This is a soap opera classic, but the way it's being used here is much more sinister. Matt's amnesia isn't just a plot device, it's a psychological weapon. Whether he's lying or not doesn't even really matter. What matters is the effect it has on the Newmans. By claiming he doesn't remember his crimes, he's forcing Nick and Noah to live in a state of constant fear. He's the ghost that can actually punch you in the face. Nick's reaction to Matt's return is to go into security mode. He wants to handle it himself. This is exactly what triggers the drug use. The pressure of protecting everyone from a man who might be a threat, combined with the physical pain and the addiction, creates a perfect storm. Look at Noah's reaction compared to Nick's. Noah is proactive, launching a defense and confronting Matt. Nick, however, is keeping it all inside. He's taking the burden of the past, the trauma Matt caused Sharon and himself years ago, and trying to carry it alone. This is a classic trauma loop. Nick is mentally stuck in the 90s while trying to navigate a 2026 crisis. We also have this fascinating parallel between Nick and Adam right now. Adam is watching Nick like a hawk, sensing the relapse before it even fully happens. Why is Adam the one who sees it? Because he knows the Newman look. He knows what it's like to have a secret life. Adam himself is fighting the temptation to return to the gambling world of Las Vegas. There's a strange, begrudging love here. Adam isn't asking Nick if he's using just to catch him, he's asking because he's actually worried. But Nick's ego won't let him accept help from the brother he's spent years looking down on. The irony is that the black sheep might be the only one who can actually save the golden boy. The relationship between these two brothers is currently a mirror. Adam sees his own potential for failure in Nick's eyes. If the good brother can fall this hard, what hope does Adam have? It's a shared psychological weight that adds so much tension to their scenes at the Park Cafe. As we move toward the end of the week, things are about to get much worse. We know that by Friday, Nick is going to strike a dangerous deal. The tension is building toward a moment where Nick's last pill just isn't enough. He's meeting with a new drug dealer. This is the moment where the addiction officially moves from coping to total lifestyle collapse. At the same time, Phyllis is setting a trap for Victor that Michael Baldwin fears will backfire spectacularly. We are looking at a collision course where Nick's secret addiction is going to be the very thing Victor uses to discredit any evidence Phyllis might find. Victor is a man who plays three-dimensional chess. If Nick is compromised, the entire Newman family is compromised. So, where is this all going? I have a few theories based on the unholy alliance we're seeing between Matt Clark and Patty Williams. First, Nick is going to overdose. I don't think they're going to play this high-functioning addict story for much longer. The fact that he's using fentanyl, one of the most dangerous substances out there, suggests a life-or-death moment is coming. This will likely be the only thing that forces Victor to stop his war with Phyllis and focus on his family. Second, the double Newman arrest is looking more and more likely. Michael Baldwin is too good of a lawyer to not find the AI fingerprint on those emails. I predict that just as Victor thinks he's won, Phyllis and Michael are going to turn the tables, leading to a shocking moment where Victor and Victoria are the ones being led out in handcuffs. Of course, the Newmans never stay down for long, but the blow to their reputation will be permanent. Third, Matt Clark's amnesia is definitely a long con. He isn't just back for revenge, he's back to take over. I suspect he has a connection to the very AI technology Victor is using. What if Matt was the one who gave Victor the program, knowing it would eventually lead to the family's legal downfall? That would be the ultimate psychological revenge. It's easy to look at these storylines and see just soap opera drama, but there's a deeper commentary here about truth in the modern age. Between Victor's AI-generated lies and Nick's drug-induced fog, nobody in Genoa City knows what's real anymore. Phyllis is the only one screaming the truth, but because she's been a liar for so long, nobody believes her. It's a tragic irony. And Nick, the man who values truth above all else, is currently living the biggest lie of all. I think the show is at its best when it explores these dark, psychological corners. Joshua Morrow is giving the performance of his career right now because he's playing against type. Seeing a broken Nick Newman is much more compelling than seeing a perfect one. To truly appreciate the tragedy of Nick's current state, we have to look at the history of Schick, Nick and Sharon. For over 30 years, these two have been the heartbeat of the show. The reason the audience is so invested in Nick's sobriety is that he and Sharon represent the pure love of Genoa City. They met as teenagers, survived the death of their daughter Cassie, and have reunited more times than we can count. When Sharon calls Mariah at the treatment center, she's trying to be the strong one, but you can see the wear and tear of decades of Newman drama in her eyes. She doesn't know that her knight in shining armor is currently crumbling. Nick's addiction is a slap in the face to their entire history. He's always been the one Sharon turned to when she was struggling with her bipolar disorder. Now, the roles are reversed, but Nick's pride won't let him be the one who needs saving. He'd rather take a pill in the snow than admit to Sharon that he's not the man she thinks he is. I think the writers are using Nick's addiction to finally break the supercouple cycle. By making Nick this flawed and this desperate, they are forcing the audience to see him not as a romantic hero, but as a human being in crisis. It's a bold move, and honestly, it's exactly what the character needed to stay relevant. We also have to give a massive shout-out to Michelle Stafford. The sources describe her performance as taking Phyllis to wickedly delicious new heights, and they aren't kidding. Phyllis isn't just a villain, she's a survivor who uses villainous methods. In her mind, Victor is the one who stole the company by using AI to frame her. She's just trying to take back what she thinks is hers. Her decision to threaten Christine Blair with a media scandal is classic Phyllis. She knows she can't win in a court of law where the evidence is allegedly legit, so she tries to win in the court of public opinion. There's a scene where she's with Lauren and Michael, and for a split second, you see the mask slip. She realizes she might actually lose everything. That fear is what fuels her wickedness. It's not malice, it's terror. Stafford plays the cornered cat better than anyone in daytime. I actually agree with her tactics here. If you're being framed by a billionaire with an AI program, you should play dirty. Victor isn't following the rules, so why should she? Let's look at Christine Blair Romalotti. She's the new district attorney, and she's insisting that everything be done by the book. But whose book is it? Phyllis accuses her of being a Newman puppet. While Christine claims she's just following the evidence, we know Victor recruited her specifically for his plot. Christine prides herself on her integrity. If it's revealed that the evidence she's using is AI fabricated, her entire career is over. This makes her just as desperate as Phyllis, even if she hides it behind a suit and a law degree. The DA's office in Genoa City has always been a revolving door of Newman influence. By putting Christine in this position, the writers are testing the one character who is supposed to be unbuyable. Is she actually in on the plot, or is she being played by Victor just as much as Phyllis is? The return of Roger Howarth as Matt Clark is a game-changer. The fact that he's an amnesiac is a brilliant way to handle a character with such a dark history. If Matt doesn't remember raping Sharon or framing Nick for murder in the past, does he still deserve to be treated as a criminal? This is the question the show is forcing the characters to ask. For Nick, seeing Matt's face is a trigger for every bad thing that's ever happened to him. It's not just about the crash, it's about the decades of torment. Amnesia is the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. If Matt is faking it, he's a genius manipulator. If he's not, he's a victim of the very family that is now hunting him. This ambiguity is what's driving the tension between Noah and Sienna, as they try to decide how to handle him. As we look toward the double Newman arrest prediction, we have to consider the role of Victoria. She's Victor's right-hand woman, and she's the one who actually handed over the bogus proof to Christine. Victoria is often seen as the logical Newman, but her loyalty to Victor is her Achilles heel. She's willing to break the law to protect the family business. There's a profound sadness in the fact that Victoria is now complicit in the same kind of manipulation that Matt Clark used on Nick. She's becoming the very thing her family has always fought against. I think Victoria is actually the one who will crack first. She's already worried about Nick's addiction. If she realizes that Victor's schemes are what's pushing Nick over the edge, she might be the one to turn over the audio recording Phyllis so desperately wants. As we wrap this up, remember that Nick is meeting his drug dealer on Friday. This isn't just a one last pill situation anymore. This is a full-blown descent. The dangerous deal Nick strikes will probably involve him trading Newman's secrets for drugs. This will be the ultimate betrayal of Victor, and it will be the thing that finally levels the playing field for Phyllis. Well, think about it. Do you think Nick actually took that last pill, or was the scene intended to show his strength in resisting? If he did take it, do you think his family, specifically Nikki, should be the ones to stage an intervention, or should he face the legal consequences of his actions alone? And is Victor going too far this time? We know he wants his company back, but using AI to frame the mother of his grandchildren feels like a new low, even for him. Do you want to see Victor and Victoria actually go to prison for this, or do you think Phyllis deserves whatever she gets? Genoa City is standing on the edge of a disaster that no amount of Newman money can fix. Whether it's Nick's battle with the pill or Phyllis's battle with Victor, the fallout is going to be legendary. We've got more spoilers, deep dives, and character analysis coming your way every single day, so you definitely don't want to miss what happens when the deal Nick strikes on Friday finally comes to light. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Newman schemes and Nick's addiction drama, make sure to hit that like button, it really helps the channel. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on those notifications so you're the first to know when we drop our next breakdown of The Young and the Restless. Leave your theories in the comments below, I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep watching, keep theorizing, and stay restless.